Yeah, Zach will count us down, and
Okay.
then once he counts us down, just everybody hits that record at the same time. Just it doesn't have to be perfect, but it lets him so when he edits it,
It
that
helps.
it's actually somewhat close.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
We are
Yeah.
going to go live in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Off the Cut episode 36. Where up in Canada, today is known as Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. But here in Ohio and just east of me in Pennsylvania, today is respectfully dedicated apparently to nothing
Oh,
because for some reason the website where I get the food of the day was blank. So instead, this episode is respectfully dedicated to our first female guest, Christy. But you probably know her
Woo-hoo!
better as Oak Hill Millworks. What's up, Christy?
What is up? Guess what? I mean, I don't want to call you out as soon as
Oh
I get
no.
on our
uh-oh.
first call, but I just moved. I don't live in Pennsylvania anymore.
Oh, I
Oh.
saw that. So I noticed that you also have it listed as living in Kokomo, which I really enjoy that.
Bermuda, Bahama, It's not that Kokomo. It's in the middle of Indiana.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what okay, Indiana. I thought you had moved, but I was like, I don't remember because you don't put your
Yeah.
location on. I feel like nobody puts location on stuff anymore.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I also have a pesky mother-in-law, so most of the time I don't.
Hmm.
Interesting. What is that so that she can't track you or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually,
really?
yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So where does the Oak Hill Millworks come from? Are you gonna have to change the name now that you moved?
I'm not gonna. I just reestablished the business here. I really debated because I'm like, fresh start. But Oak Hill was where we lived in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And then Millworks, it's a non-traditional use of the word for sure, because I'm not over here banging out casings and moldings all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
We went to a brewery in Harrisburg, and it's called the Millworks, and it's actually a brewery that focuses on all the local artisans.
Okay.
So there's artwork and there's sculptures and there's things that people made, and so it just kind of resonated with me as more of like a general term for things that are made.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Oak Hill Millworks, yeah. And then get this, we were job hunting for my husband, and he got a call from Oak Hill High School
Oh.
out here, and we were like, "That's kind of crazy."
Yeah. A little bit of serendipity right there.
and we ended up landing on this job. Yeah, so I kept the name.
Yeah. I like it. I like it.
So Christy, you're like me and Zach, where you have like doing content and woodworking, whatever, isn't your like full-time day job, everything, right?
No, it is. This is me. I mean, I'm a cardiac nurse legally, but
That's what I thought. I thought that you had a medical tie.
yeah. So um, that career was kind of what I went to right out of college, but it just kind of was draining me. And so when we had our kids, I decided I'm going to stay at home with the kids for a little bit. And then, as it turns out, staying at home with your kids also drains you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started the business back in 2019 because I was like, I really want to do something more creative and something that taps back into like who I am and who I was before I became a mom. And so that's kind of, it was March 2019. It all started with the purchase of a laser.
Oh, interesting.
So I
yeah.
noticed that's what's different about. So like Zach does slightly different content than I do, and you also do completely different content than the two of us. A lot of yours, like you really tie that laser in because that's a huge part of your business, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that's how it started. It
Yeah.
was really big. So if you look back at my content from like 2019 to it is still 2022. Probably the beginning.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
we lost her.
We lost her.
She'll be back in.
So, listeners, Christy did warn us that this might happen. Apparently, her Google Meet is a little bit glitchy. So we might have, and then she's back.
She's back. We're good.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
So-
That's okay.
The content was more like, I'm doing woodworking, but just so that I can complement the laser stuff.
Right.
Yes.
I quickly found out that making kitschy, cutesy things took time. And although I enjoyed it, like from an artist standpoint, I also kind of am motivated by numbers and money.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm
mm-hmm.
like, my profits are gone. My time is actually my most valuable asset here. So I quickly switched to like a B2B business model where I was trying to sell more bulk things that were not
Okay.
as artistic or creative by any means, but I started to see those bigger checks and invoices roll in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because it was even making something as small as like a wooden keychain or tumblers,
Yeah.
but the quantity
Yes.
when you're selling to a business. So, and then with time, I just started to build more, and then I fell in love with woodworking like a dope, because that takes up a lot of money and time and space.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
And then, not to like just word vomit and go on and on and on about
No,
my
no,
origin
please.
story, but yeah, I just realized then that I also loved sharing. Like I really love, I guess my favorite part of being a nurse was patient education. So when I combine like doing what I enjoy creatively or with woodworking with helping others get over that hump so that they can do it too, that's like where my heart really gets happy. So content creation, yeah, allows me to make that more educational content. And then I started tapping into YouTube with my CNC, and that's kind of my YouTube sweet spot is CNC stuff.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I got my hands in a
YouTube
lot
is a
of
whole
pots of
different
honey.
beast.
It is. I finally just got monetized, and I'm like,
Oh, nice.
I'm
Congrats.
sorry. Did you realize I got $26 this month?
Ooh. Yeah, that's what people don't realize is like, I remember thinking, man, that's such BS that it takes 1,000 subs and like 4,000 watch hours to get monetized. But it's like, okay, if you got monetized before then, you would have gotten like it would have been like TikTok money where you would have gotten like a couple dollars a month. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not even worth
Ah,
it.
I hope they don't change it. I hope they don't pull an Instagram, and you guys were talking about it on your last podcast. The doing away of the swipe up was a huge mistake, in my opinion. We could go on a long rant about that, but hopefully YouTube keeps it. I think you should have to work to start to earn, and I think you should have to build on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. There are some like weird edge cases where I'm kind of against the fact that they don't monetize channels. Cause like, so say you have a very popular video and you only have like 500 subs, but you have this weird video where you get 1 million views and
Yeah.
they're running ads on it and they're making money on it, but you're not making money on it. It's like, that doesn't feel right to me. But then it's like, that's such a weird edge case that so rarely happens that I don't even know that's really worth addressing.
Did you just watch a recent video by Think Media? Because
No, I didn't actually.
It was just about how like the old ways of like just grinding for subs is not the way of YouTube anymore, and it's about your click-through rate and keeping people watching, which is seems obvious. Like if people like the content, that's what you should be getting more recommendations from, is if the content is good. Because I have noticed that the people who have chosen to be transparent with what they're earning on YouTube, and you kind of compare their sub count, I'm like, wow, she has 200,000 more subs, and she's not coming close to what this other person is earning with 200,000 fewer subs. So that's that says a lot.
Well, it also depends like which niche you're in, right? Because depending on what your audience is, they're going to be more or less valuable to different advertisers. Like I've seen a lot of people in developing countries that have really popular channels, but if you're just talking about things that are going on in Colombia all the time, that's not as valuable to advertisers, because just the, people in Colombia, unfortunately, have less money to spend on things that you would advertise on YouTube, right? So it's, and so I've heard that finance content is like the highest paying.
Yeah, I fully intend to make YouTube videos disclosing how much I spent on the laser and what I've made doing it. I can't do all the things. I want to do all the things.
That's the hardest part about being a content creator, is like once you get the ball rolling, you have all these ideas, and it's like, okay, which ones are the ones that are going to be the best use of my time? And you don't necessarily know how other people are going to react to some video, right? Like
Yeah.
you have an idea, like, and you have your own interests, but it's until you actually sit down and do it, it's kind of just a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, and the ideas are the fun part, and they're kind of the easy part. It's the
Yeah.
executing of the ideas
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
tougher.
Yeah.
And then when you do start to get sponsors involved, you have this schedule now, and it's like,
Mhm.
man, why can't I just be retired at 34 and just do all the things that I want to do?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
speaking of sponsors, Christy, I think you were one of the first people that I ever like messaged and was just flat out like, "Hey, how much did you charge for this?" Or like, "How much should I be charging for this?" I remember when you and this was like a year and a half ago.
I
You told me
vaguely
your
remember
number
that.
and I was like, "Damn, I am just losing so much money." And I was like, "I feel like an idiot." Like this is something that we always tell people from the get-go. People are like, "Oh, the first time I have a sponsor," and they're like, "I'm going to give you $40 to post something." Don't
Do not do
take it.
Yeah.
Oh, I made that mistake though, like many, many followers ago. I think I had, I don't know, maybe 500 followers, and that famous canvas apron company that
Yeah.
was just
Oh yeah.
hustling them out at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'll give you $50 to make a 1-minute video.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I've made
Yeah.
it.
Uh,
It's
one of
funny
my
though.
classic mistakes.
You talk about the canvas apron, and like I remember there were like these like specific waves of companies that were just like
Yeah.
paying everybody they could get their hands on with like 1,000 followers or more, like,
Yeah.
you know, 50, $60 plus a little bit of free product. It was really interesting to see. I don't see too much of that going on anymore. Not coming in the big waves, but maybe I'm just not as tuned into it.
Yeah, no, it feels like the whole climate of Instagram has shifted a bit in the past
100%.
6 months
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm kind of hoping I don't have a viral reel.
Yeah, why do you say
'Cause
that?
Well, it just seems like so many people in the past several months have just zoomed up over 100K.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that I've talked to, they're like, it's really not satisfying.
Mm.
Because
Well,
it's one thing to like get, I don't know, 50 follows one day, and you
Sure.
see a lot with the name woodworking
Yeah.
behind it.
yeah,
So you're like, okay, that's a good follow. They
Yeah.
want to be here.
yeah.
Another thing to see, all the foreign accounts or the clear bot accounts.
Mhm.
It's like, this is the participation ribbon
Right. I
that
see
the
what you're
losing
saying.
team gets.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I've just kind of accepted that as part of my account growing, is that I'm going to have a more diffuse audience. It's not going to be all like super hardcore people who want to see everything I'm doing. It's, the larger that pool is, there's going to be people who follow you but don't really care that much about what you're doing, and they'll
Yeah.
only see posts occasionally. So it's kind of, it is what it is. As your audience gets bigger, it becomes this like kind of like feast or famine thing. You'll have posts that like pop off and do amazing, and then you'll have posts that you put out that are just complete duds, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It is. It just takes me back to when I had very few followers, and I really celebrated when I got like 50 likes on something,
Well,
and it felt like a
right.
genuine response. And now I'm like,
Exactly, yeah. And it was more consistent too, I imagine, or that's at least what my experience was. It was much more like every post you do, you see like the same 20 to 50 people liking and commenting on it, and you have
Yeah.
a little bit of a community. But as your account grows, it changes. It's unfortunate, but it does.
The one thing I've noticed is that you'll have these accounts where like this is no exaggeration at all. They'll have like 1 to 2,000 followers, and then literally a week later, 50 to 100K
Yeah.
from like 2 reels that popped off.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, not like I'm happy for you. I'm glad that your content went well, but here's what's going to happen. Brands are going to reach out to you. And now you don't know your value. So
Mm.
now you're going to do something way cheaper. And then people that have been well established are like, I know my value. I'm now going to be undercut. And they're
Yeah.
going to look at me and think, you're crazy for charging that much when I can get this guy or this girl over here to do it for 1/10 of that price.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely potential for that to happen.
This identical conversation is happening all over the place
Yeah.
with many people. The same exact thing that you just said. I've said it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's diluting the value, in my opinion, I think, somehow. So we got to figure out how we can keep adding value to the community. And I guess, yeah, I don't know. How can we do that?
It's challenging because I try to put out like videos that have voiceovers, right? Teach like a tip and technique or whatever. But if I just put this, I have this video I talk about all the time that I post to every couple months because it gets every single time minimum 5 million views.
Can you send that to me?
It's the dumbest video. It's me just squeezing pieces of wood together and epoxy running out of it. It's like 3 seconds long. It's like,
oh, it's the really messy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's crap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, so I think we talked about this last week, Eric. But sometimes just because you don't perceive value in something doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't. I mean,
that's true.
It's, you know, maybe it's crap to you, but other people find it extremely satisfying to see epoxy oozing out of it. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
That makes sense. My like I don't even know what it's called. My 3 points in my bio are like education, entertainment, and empowerment. So I'm just trying to check at least one of those boxes for people. And you do have to play the game because, especially if you're self-employed doing this, you got to kind of play the game and hope that it doesn't play you too hard.
Yeah.
Facebook is where it's at, though. Are you guys?
So I just got my whole Instagram ordeal. That was a nightmare. Finally got Facebook back. And so I basically just cross post, but I finally figured out that weird convoluted way to cross post your reels. So like as soon as I post a reel, it also goes over to Facebook as opposed to just like your photo posts.
Oh, I can't figure out how to do that.
Oh, it is a nightmare.
It's hard. It's really, you know what, Eric, you walked me through it. I did it and it worked for like a week and then it just stopped working.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they are still allowing you to monetize that. Cause I know I've gotten flagged for like, this can't be monetized because it, you know, resembles the same video on a different channel.
Oh, interesting.
So my Facebook thing is only like 300 followers or something like that now. And you have to get to a certain level before you can monetize on Facebook, right?
I have 2 different accounts that are monetized on Facebook. I have no idea how I got there, but Instagram's pay is crap compared to Facebook. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. On like a good month of Instagram reel bonus, it's like $500, $600. And I'm like, woohoo.
I've only gotten that high like once. Otherwise it's more like less than 200 for me on Instagram. But I also have like less than half the follower count that you have.
But I mean, like, that's not a sustainable number. Like if you're trying to do content full time, like you can't do $500 a month. Like,
no, that just covers like glue.
Yeah. Maybe materials. Yeah, maybe. But you guys
should Facebook is better.
You guys should try being a Canadian because I don't have access to either of those programs. So I get a big fat 0 from Facebook and Instagram.
A lot of people here
TikTok
don't have it either, and they don't know why. So it is frustrating that it's not an even playing field.
Yeah, it's just a weird black box.
Brad Rodriguez from Fix This Build That is doing a seminar about Facebook monetization at Workbench Con this year, I believe.
Well, let's sign up for that.
Yeah, I'm going to. I need to get tickets still. I haven't done that.
Oh, you gotta come.
I think the early bird pricing is still for like maybe a couple weeks, maybe a week or 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Grab it.
I'm still trying to buy my ticket. Again, speaking about getting screwed as a Canadian, I can't buy a ticket because their website won't let Canadians check out the ticket.
Do you just want me to buy it for you?
Maybe. I emailed them and they said they were going to get back to me in like a week or something like that. So we'll see if they actually do. But I might just have you get it and I'll send you the money.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So Christy, with your business, how would you say it's split up? Would you say it's like 70% is the custom orders and stuff that you do and 30% is content? Or how would you say it's like broken up?
I really shouldn't just know this number off the top of my head. So I'm going to pull up my QuickBooks here.
Oh, no, you're good.
It is shifting to be much more heavily content creation than custom stuff. I did a lot of custom stuff this past year. I haven't done many sales at all in the past 2 months since we relocated. I haven't been getting the shop set up.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, it's moving into more than half content creation. Yeah,
That's
Craig
pretty much
Jig
where
has
we're
been
at,
helping
too.
with that.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if it's total. It's not necessarily more than half content creation, but it's more than half is not making stuff for people.
Gotcha.
The TV show pays,
Mm.
so that's a content-ish, but it's not content I'm creating. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is a paid podcast recording. So
Eric?
What? Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
we pay in like Domino's coupons if you want.
checks in the mail.
Yeah.
We don't even make enough money on this. This podcast for us is just a pure enjoyment thing and like
Yeah.
a community thing. Like,
Yeah.
we answer questions that people send in and stuff like that because, as you know, so often you get somebody that sends you like a heartfelt message on Instagram. Hey, I'm just starting. I need help with this, and this. It's like, I'm really sorry. I can't devote the time to answer that thoroughly. And the times that I have done it, I've gotten burned with somebody just like double hitting it and giving me the heart. And I'm like, I wrote you 6 paragraphs.
Yeah.
And you can't even respond.
I usually do voice memos because I do.
Oh, smart.
Yes.
It's just quicker.
Yeah.
It's harder for them, but I'm like, it's a compromise. I give you all this information in the middle of my workday.
And you can't just like scroll
You're going to have to
through
listen to it.
I mean, I feel like a voice note's a little bit more personal too, right? It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a nice
I
touch.
enjoy that on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's that soothing voice of yours. And it's not the nasally drone that Zach and I have.
Soothing. Has Eric's face been frozen on your screen too, Zach?
No, I still see him just fine.
Okay, he's
It
been frozen
happens.
in the same position for like 10 minutes for
Oh,
mine.
really? Okay.
I hope it's not vulgar.
No, you look pretty normal.
Well,
It's a neutral face.
doesn't mean it's not vulgar. So, speaking of questions, because I'm curious to know this from you, Christy.
Okay.
One of our patrons asked a question, Wes Willard. What is your current camera setup?
Oh.
Maybe list the types such as DSLR, GoPro, wind up box camera, and why you have those. So, what do you like film all of your stuff on? iPhone, baby?
Just reaching. Oh, the
Yeah,
iPhone.
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't even have the nice iPhone. I only have the 2 cameras.
You got the mini one? Is that the? I got the.
Oh, it's
little
slightly
children's
different
size.
It's the
orientation of
11,
lenses.
but
Okay.
it's not the Pro. It's not the Pro.
See, this
I got
is what
a miniature one.
we always tell people is you don't need like a crazy good camera. It's more about what you're doing and the story and the content you're putting out there than how it looks. So, yeah.
Wholeheartedly
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I've considered it mainly because I just don't want to use my phone.
Yeah.
Like I wish it was like I've thought about buying an iPhone and not activating it with a
Right.
plan.
I've
Use it
known
as a
people who have done that. I
Yeah.
know. I was listening to like a comedian talk about how he wanted to film his special, and he just went and bought like 5 iPhones and set them up around the stage at like different angles. Hit
Do you
record
know how
on
to
all
use
of them.
it? Like
Yeah.
maybe you could get I don't know, camera, body plus lenses. That adds up. The
Mhm.
factor for me is like I do not have the time or the interest to learn DSLR. I had a Nikon once upon a time.
I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make when they're first starting out is like, okay, I want to do this content thing. I need to go get a big fancy camera. And then they plonk it down. They're like, oh, I have no idea how to use this thing.
That's me. I had no idea what the hell I was doing with this thing.
Yeah.
Too many buttons.
Seems like you figured it
Maybe
out.
I have like a custom setting that when I turn it on, it automatically goes back to the settings that I had prior. And
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
this works for me.
As long as no dials get bumped while it's in your bag or anything like that, it's okay.
Right. So Zach, you got a mirrorless, right? You got
Yes.
the Sony something or other.
I have a Sony A7S3.
It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's a lot of
expensive.
numbers. Yeah, it's yeah.
7S3.
Yeah, you should the a lot of numbers also comes to the price tag with the thing. But that's because like I like the videography aspect. I have the passion for learning how to use the camera because I like to make nice looking things. But I know that it's not necessary. It's just like a thing that I like to do, but it's not integral to the business at all by any stretch of the imagination.
But I mean, everybody knows that like when you post photos and like your videos and stuff on Instagram, you're like, oh, they look nice.
Oh,
They
thank you.
look better than most people's. But it's clear that like, okay, you take a lot of pride and enjoyment in doing the camera tech side of
Exactly.
things.
Yes, it's fun for me. But if it's a pain point for you, then don't do it.
Sorry while I rip out a hair real quick.
No, it's okay.
Oh no, you're good.
This is what happens when you have women on the show. They shed. We shed a lot.
I shed a lot, but they're just like little short hairs.
Yeah. I'm losing all my hair.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I need to get that Keeps subscription or whatever it is.
I think I did a sponsored video with them a while ago. I'll shoot you over a discount code you can use.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Didn't April just get roasted for it was like a hair.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'm pretty sure it was a balding product, and she's a woman with a full head of hair.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, just letting somebody know about a product. I mean.
Yeah, she had a friend of her family who like suffered with male pattern baldness, and it was like, I can imagine that would be very, very hard. And so that's why she took it on, but people just roasted her.
That's so weird. I mean, I did it. I have a full head of hair. It's like, it's just because you have hair doesn't mean that you can't sympathize with somebody, how awkward it'd be to lose your hair, right? Like,
true.
I don't know.
True.
The sponsor thing for me is, I don't know, especially on YouTube. Like, I understand, even before I was a content creator, I understood that there are going to be people that are like, hey, make this Squarespace ad, that don't use Squarespace.
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, do you like when you're watching a TV show, like when you're watching Seinfeld, do you think Jerry Seinfeld like cares about the, I don't know, like the allergy commercial that like plays during this? Like, no, it's a commercial. It's like, it's not even really that related to the content.
But people are so dang sensitive nowadays, and
It's true.
they get very annoyed by ads, and they think that we are just here to serve them.
Yeah, it's very true.
Well, there's a really easy way around it on YouTube. You buy YouTube Premium.
That's true. Well, I guess that doesn't do anything about the baked-in ads, though, which are the ones that people seem to be the most offended about.
I love your responses, Eric.
Oh, mine?
I'm like, he is such a jerk. That's why you're trying to stir the pot so people keep commenting. All you respond with is yes. They have like a compound question.
Yes.
And your answer is yes.
Oh man, I got a good one. I don't know if I can find it. I'll see if I can pull it up because this guy got so mad.
Eric also taught me the patented method of just saying, "Are you sure?" when somebody gives you a big long diatribe,
because it gets people pissed when you say stuff like that.
My YouTube content is so niche, which is really not a good thing, but at the same time my community is pretty like loyal, and they're really nice because they're there for a reason.
Well, it's interesting, you know, when you post a video on YouTube, depending on how successful it is, you can expect more or less hate. Like if it just plays to your like core audience,
right,
you're gonna get like all these really nice comments. But as soon as it goes like viral or, you know, reaches a bigger audience than what you're used to, then you have to start bracing for like a little bit of criticism and hate from all the outsiders.
Just avoid, because I get enough of that on Facebook. I get so many chauvinistic comments.
I bet.
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah.
And then the worst part is you go click on that guy's profile and you see him holding like his daughter. I'm like, how can you make that comment and be a father to a girl? How can you?
Or people like say horrible things and it's coming from like a business account. I'm like, you're the face of your business right now.
You know what I've found on YouTube is actually the most hateful comments that I get are often from other YouTubers.
Oh.
It's usually, not people with like big accounts, but like people with like an account where they've got, you know, like 100 to 500 subscribers or something like that. And yeah, it's just like, oh, this is not good promotion for your channel.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Well, I found this one. If you guys want to hear this back and forth, this guy's super fired up. So it comes from this, and this is how you got to do it. You have to either just ignore the comments or just take like you take amusement from them. So
Yeah.
this is from a short that I put out, and shorts on YouTube are now troll farms. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
So it's one I said it's a $2,000 chessboard, and he goes,
Oh, I read through these.
Oh, did you?
oh, he goes, for anyone that's getting into woodworking, please don't have these types of expectations. Most woodworkers, unless their work is famous, aren't going to be making this kind of money off any standard chessboard. You definitely can make a chessboard worth that much, but this definitely isn't going to be it. It is irresponsible to give someone those types of expectations when you know it's likely not going to happen. And I said, are you sure? And they go, yeah, I'm fairly sure. Also, this comment isn't directed towards you. It's directed towards your subscribers who may have an unrealistic expectation of their project prices. And I said,
he called you irresponsible, so it's kind of directed towards you.
yeah. So I said, are you sure? He goes, I am sure. And I said, okay. And he said, good deal. And I said, well, what's the deal? This is where he gets mad.
Slow day at work, Eric.
Right.
Yeah.
So that I was certain about. I was saying, and that you had enough mental processing power to understood what I was saying. Doesn't make sense. Listen, bro, I get this trick of going back and forth trying to get the last words in, slightly playing with semantics to keep conversation from gravitating too much on the negative aspects about yourself. And it's the little bit you want to play. Keep going, more power to you. You'll continue to lose respect from me and anyone else that can see through this kind of bullshit.
Wow.
Oh, there's the explicit warning.
Oh,
So
yeah.
upset.
You make your content public, and you should have the mental capacity to understand criticism. You should take criticism face on with maturity and not continue to act like a middle-aged brat. And he goes, I'm sure you don't need to tell me who that was directed towards. And I said, who was it directed towards? And he just keeps going all out. And he says, you. I said, oh, I think there's a new season 4 of You coming out in March, but I'm not sure. That's a great show, by the way. And he
Yeah, I
goes,
enjoyed
just
that
take
show.
the criticism, buddy. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Please press 1 to be transferred to our customer service department, or 2 to be transferred back to our main menu. Hasn't responded since then.
Oh my goodness.
But it's helping out, like, you know, it's
Yeah,
more
I mean,
engagement, but
yeah, exactly. Every time, I like the idea that while he's typing out his mad responses to you, your voiceover is like playing in his headphones. It's like, I'm so mad at this guy, and he like keeps hearing you talking.
Yeah. Just for him to be in the comment thing, the
video's always playing in the background.
I legit read through those comments that day and saw many people just wanted to know, did someone actually pay $2,000 for this?
Yeah.
I believe the story was that was kind of your like F off price to somebody who wanted you to build a chessboard.
Somebody wanted me to build a chessboard. I didn't want to build it. And they go, how much? I said, $2,000. And they said, okay.
And you're like, dang it. Is that still not enough?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
funny.
Christy, we have that conversation with sponsors. If there's a sponsor that comes to us, we often will give them the F off price. Do you operate under the same thing? Like if somebody is like kind of somewhat, you're like, I don't know.
Trying to think back for a specific example here. I have my rate card and I have deviated from it both directions.
Yeah.
Sure.
Certain more like mom and pop businesses that I would just enjoy working with, that I know are not going to have the budget of Craig Tool. And otherwise, no, I wouldn't. If I don't want to work with someone, I'm not going to take the time to even respond about the rate, honestly. But I have done that for jobs, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
you just don't want to do.
Especially when you're time limited, right? Like there are things that's like, if you pay me enough money, I will work all day and all night in order to like get this contract done. But if I'm already busy, like, yeah, like I'm gonna, like right now I've got a couple sponsors lined up for my next couple videos, and I've gotten a few emails in the meantime, and it's like, yeah, just give them my F off price because I'm too busy, but if they're willing to pony up that extra cash and like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll have a couple sleepless nights. I'll really hustle in November to get this done if I can. So it's,
I forget what that, oh man, what is it? Somebody said 3 things you can choose. You can either have it done well,
yes, yeah,
done cheap, I think, or done fast.
yes,
Yeah.
And,
Pick
and
2.
pick 2. You can't, there's certain combinations that don't make sense together.
Yes,
I like that.
And yeah, like it's like you were saying, like I've deviated to low end. Like sometimes I know brands are super chill to work with. Then I won't give them my F off price. I'll give them like a lower price because I know that I can enjoy the project. I know it's going to be easy. I know I'm gonna not have to send a million emails back and forth about every little detail. So I will charge those companies some money.
I have one of those on the horizon, ready to be signed with for next year that maybe we can talk about that in the after show.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it.
It's definitely lower than what I would normally work with.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you what, some of these third-party marketing groups that run point for these companies just are horrible. And I almost feel bad because I'm like, I know you're working in a big agency and you probably don't have good leadership and you have no idea what we're doing on our end. So it's hard for you to understand like timelines and expectations. And I'm just kind of over it though. Like I'd rather have more engagements for the long haul at a smaller paycheck and enjoy who I work with.
100%.
Not have them micromanaging me, especially not like 4 different people micromanaging me on the same project and me having to repeat the email. I mean, I hate it.
Yes.
So anyways, I'm really looking forward to this new partnership.
Yeah, we'll for sure talk about in the after show because the after show is where we can also air our grievances that don't need to be in the public eye. If you've got grievances to air.
Oh my.
Okay, there we go.
There's a good teaser for the after show, everybody.
And I will just say, 6 days left in my awful Timberland Pro contract. Can't wait. Worst mistake of my life.
Oh, I can talk about that in the after show too.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
We've talked about them.
Did you end up taking it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I wish I didn't. But yeah, we'll for sure talk about it.
And you had an actual... Okay, yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember the crap they tried to put you through because you texted me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've got grievances to air. But let's get back to a question. Okay. I like this one. This will be funny. This is from Brock Trahan. What piece have you made that your significant other hates the most and why? Okay, I got mine.
Okay, go for it.
So this was 100% a joke, but I needed, and I've worked with Arbor Tech for a long time. They're great, but they're just kind of like one thing a year that they're like the power carving company. It's like one thing a year they want to work with you on. Well, I had forgotten that I had made an agreement with them, and then it was like 3 or 4 weeks before I had a deliverables due, and I was like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna make?" And this was back when like I wasn't making a lot of money, so I didn't really have a lot of money to be putting into this, and I had just a bunch of stacks of pallets left, and so it was Valentine's Day was coming up. And so that's where the video came together where I stacked all the pallet wood with a bunch of epoxy and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I literally just made a giant wall of stacked pieces of pallets and then power carved the shape of a giant heart as like, it was kind of a joke. But when I gave it to her, she's like,
ew, what is this?
What is this? And she's like, oh, it's nice. And so I kind of no, it's literally sat in this closet behind me for over 2 years, and I just got rid of it the other day. She never said it out, but I mean, I knew it was crap, Eric. But it was just funny. It was funny.
I think my husband is. First, I think husbands must have like a little code or something, or they just know how to.
Uh-oh, we're getting thrown under the bus.
We're
not married.
No, I think it's a good thing. I
Okay.
think it's a good thing. I think husbands like are sweet. They don't want to hurt our feelings. But I also think my husband's just pretty great. Also, I think I just make awesome stuff all the time. So I don't think there is a
Humble
thing.
brag.
I don't think there is a thing that my husband would even dislike. I know there was a picture that I had framed for him way back when for our anniversary, and that thing never got hung up.
It was just like the two of you?
It was actually, I thought it was pretty. It was the view off the bridge that he proposed to me on.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's
It
nice.
was a really wide shot, but I think it was an ugly frame or
Oh.
something. I don't know. He was like, thank you. But I don't know. I didn't make the frame or anything, but
I won't speak
That's all
for
I got.
Zach, but I know that I've gotten in trouble in the past where like Miranda will give me something and I'll be like, oh yeah, cool, this is nice. And then like a year later, she'll be like, the reason I got that was because this was a song that we listened to on our first date or something. And I'd be like, I just didn't remember. I'm sorry. I thought you were just like, oh, check out this artist. I think you might like him. And I was like, oh, cool. Sometimes I forget the sentimental, emotional.
Yeah, you need a little bit of context with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty big chasm between what I'm interested in and what my girlfriend Sophie is interested in. So like I do all these things, I bring all these projects home, and like our house is like basically just decorated with all my projects.
Mhm.
And I think she's a little sick of it. She's a little sick of my aesthetic because she's constantly like, can we have less wood in the living
I was
room?
gonna say,
Can we,
it's a lot of wood.
yeah. Like, can we get some like glass and some metal in here? Can we just like stop with all the wood? And I think just like, you know, like I'm building like custom video game consoles, and she's like, I do not give a shit about custom video game consoles because I'm a real adult, unlike you. So yeah.
Oh man.
So she's not a big tech person then.
No, she's very much like a real life. Like she wants to sit down and have a real conversation with you, which I don't understand at all.
This might be why she's still only your girlfriend.
Yeah, potentially.
So Miranda and I were looking at engagement rings last night or whatever, and so I was like, there are too many like all these different adjectives for all these things, and I told her, I was like, when so I play hockey. When you go to buy hockey gear, you can do this customized thing that you're like, okay, I want it to be this size, this feature, and then you like click on all the things, and it like repopulates this digital
you like
image.
filter. Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, is there like a ring version of this?
There
and so
must
we were
be.
searching for like an hour, and then finally I was like, this is it. I was like, come in here, and then I could be like, okay, so here's this different option. What does it look like? And we're like, no, those are ugly. I like option A in this description. And like you could actually work through it and see what you're getting at.
That's cool.
I need that kind of stuff. That's techie.
Yeah.
About as techie as I get.
Were you shopping? You were shopping online?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we went to the store. Yeah, we went to the store, and then they're like, well, here's this something cut, and then another one. I'm like, dude, I couldn't tell you the difference between the two.
I don't shop for anything in person these days.
No, it's annoying.
It's just not efficient use of your time.
No. And I worked retail in college, and the last thing I want to do is interact with retail people.
Yeah.
Because it's like they don't want to talk to you.
No,
My perfect day in retail would be no one coming in. Right?
That is pretty much the case now. I mean, after COVID, everyone pretty much shops online for sure now.
Unless you're working on commission, then you might want to see some faces. But
yeah.
But yeah, I always feel bad. Like I go into like a retail store, I'm like, okay, dude, I'm sorry. I had to ask you a question about this like pair of boots or whatever. Like I know I'm bothering you, and I know you're like deep in your phone conversation that you're having right now, but can I see these in a size 11 and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retail is a space. I am so glad I'm not in that. Likewise with customer service. Like,
yeah.
Christy, do you run into the issue with like when you make stuff for orders or clients or whatever that people are just a complete pain in the butt?
No.
I imagine, do you face a little bit less like pickiness when you're dealing with bigger business clients than when you're dealing with like individuals?
Here's why I don't face pickiness. Here's why I did, and here's why I do not anymore.
Okay.
It's because I give people extremely limited options. Because again, my time is my most valuable asset. I used to make the huge mistake of mocking up multiple different versions, offering X number of fonts.
Yeah.
And I find it's better for them too, with fewer options. Give them two options.
Yep.
This
People
or that.
get overwhelmed. They don't know what to pick, and then they've got all these questions for you. It's like, well, what does this font feel like? What does this font? It's like, I don't know, dude. Just pick a font.
Yeah. So I just give them fewer options now, and then I find that people are still extremely happy, especially if you just are like, ooh, I really love this one, but I can see why this one would work well too. So you show like your own enthusiasm for it. So they feel like either way, it's a good pick.
Yeah.
Which it's the same concept. Like I've heard so many people that do furniture. They're like, I literally have walnut, white oak, and maple. And those are the only options you have. Like you make it easier because, as somebody who doesn't know anything about woodworking, if I'm like, would you like hickory or elm? They're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just point them to my 5-part video series with Baird Brothers, where they can learn the difference between hickory, red oak, white oak, maple, cherry.
Yeah, but like, come on, let's be honest. No one is gonna care to look at that. They're like, yeah, I like walnut. I like the brown.
Yeah, brown's good.
Brown's good. I remember looking way back when I first got started on Instagram. A lot of people were doing like sign making and stuff like that, and then I would just out of curiosity go look at their custom order forms, and they had literally every single color stain that Minwax had as an option.
Yeah.
I think people on Etsy are really successful with having a ton of options. But with that plug and chug style of ordering, when it's pre-programmed in Etsy's, what is interface the right word?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And they put up good pictures showing what each stain and font look like. You're out with your family or you're doing whatever you're doing while people are choosing those things. So I feel like that's a little bit different in that scenario.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Have you had, speaking of Etsy, have you had any success on Etsy?
I have never attempted Etsy.
I've never attempted to sell a physical item on Etsy, but I do just like cross post my digital plans on there. It's such a crapshoot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is there any form of like discovery on Etsy? Like, can you go viral on Etsy?
I think there is like
know.
a game to be played from what I hear.
Yeah.
I know Ben Myers is wickedly successful with selling plans on Etsy. And I think there's ways that you can play an algorithm with Etsy too and start showing up higher in searches.
Interesting.
I did the thing the one of my plans that sells the best on Etsy is like the flip top tool cart, because I'm sure a lot of people are searching that. But I tried I was bringing in, I don't know, $100, $200 a month on that plan, which is pretty good for just one plan, right? So I was like, okay, because I don't need that money, what if I literally put $100 or $200 a month into like the paid ads on Etsy?
Yeah.
Zero return on investment for me.
Oh.
What about something where like if you did a paid ad on like Pinterest that linked to your Etsy or something like that?
I don't know how that works.
Then Etsy might see that as like organic traffic and then put you higher in the ranking or something like that.
I hear there's much to be earned from Pinterest.
Yeah.
I have so many things that I wish I was doing that I just can't.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, let's go through. So like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Etsy, Pinterest. I mean, you could start like a whole email marketing thing. You could start like a
your
blog,
blog, your email list, like you're saying, yeah.
Oh, even Amazon. Amazon
Patreon.
is a social media platform now.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, I don't really get that, but I know what you're talking about.
I have a buddy who says he makes $1,000 a month from doing very short review videos on Amazon.
Oh, it's interesting that you mentioned that. So when I was in college, I so if you go on Amazon or whatever, you look at the reviews and they have like sometimes they'll have badges. It'll say like
Yeah.
so and so is a top
Mm-hmm.
500 reviewer or like Amazon Vine. I
Yeah.
was in top 100 Amazon reviewers in the world, and this is when I was in college. And dude,
Oh.
I was an idiot because I just take the free product and I wasn't charging for people. But what I would do is I would then just take the product and I'd sell it on eBay, which I'm
Right.
sure violates all the agreements that you're
Yeah.
making. But I bought myself a car in college through that. I was like,
Oh,
that's
that's
pretty
sweet.
cool.
Hey, so
I mean,
okay.
just like a used car, but
Now,
still.
now I'm curious about that. So was that something you did intentionally? Were you like, I'm gonna start reviewing everything on Amazon and become like one of these top tier, or did it just kind of happen? Were you like, I love reviewing stuff, and then
This
Jeff
is my
Bezos came
passion, Mom and
knocking?
Dad.
Yeah.
No, definitely not a passion. It was one of these things where like, man, I was broke in college. So I was like, huh, I need a new backpack. What if I reach out to like a company? I was like, hey, I'll review your backpack if you send me one. And so I do all that. And then once I had like the stuff that I pretty much wanted to get myself through college, the people just kept sending stuff. And I was
Oh.
like, okay. And I'd sell it. Like I got like laptops, I got like
Really?
TVs and stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
I used
awesome.
to sell
Ooh,
on
you were
eBay.
in the game before you even knew you were in the game.
I
Yeah,
know.
true.
I
Yeah.
know.
What year are we talking here?
2012, almost 10 years ago.
Oh,
Cool.
oh,
Yeah.
you're younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I was born
Every-
in 92. I'm
Oh my
30.
god. Oh. Oh.
90s, baby.
Sorry,
Yep.
Zach's older than I am.
Yeah, I'm 88. If that makes you feel any better.
88.
Yeah.
Do they do numbers differently in Canada?
What do
Just
you-
the alphabet.
Yeah, the alphabet's backwards, but the numbers are forwards.
Oh,
Although you read
Gotcha.
them right to left.
gotcha.
You're an idiot. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. This is one we get often. Well, not often, but this topic comes up. So we usually start the podcast with the food of the day, which gets us off on a tangent about food. So
Mhm.
people ask a lot of food questions.
Hmm.
Craig wants to know, where have you had the best pizza in your life?
Which Craig?
It's just Craig.
Oh,
Craig. No, not Craig Toole. It's not Whitney.
Not Craig. Yeah.
no. I figured it was maybe Barefoot Forward Craig.
No, it's
no, I don't
Craig.
think so.
I believe it's Hegan Home Goods.
Yes. Oh, he's actually in the live stream right now. He's,
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
up?
Oh, he's gonna be on
Craig.
there.
Best pizza ever. You guys have one?
Well, mine is a place
Mm.
called Tommy's Pizza. It
Okay.
still smells of cigarettes after
Oh, you
they
told me about
banned
this place.
smoking like 20 years ago. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
filthy. It's good pizza though.
Oh, that's all you need. As long as the pizza's good, I'm there. There's this place here in Toronto called Maker Pizza, which is quite
Oh.
good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maker Pizza. What do you got, Christy? Did you find a new place in Indiana now?
I did find a new place thanks to my one single friend that I had prior to moving here. She told me about this place called Bruno's, and they have a ground pepperoni option. And it's just
Interesting.
like you wouldn't think just making pepperoni in a different texture would make it that much better, but it's very good.
I get that.
Huh.
It's like a thinner crust too.
Mhm.
Ooh. So what's your go-to pizza topping?
I make homemade pizza every Friday night almost.
Okay. Nice.
Ooh.
And we do pepperoni, green peppers, and if I'm feeling frisky and I cooked some bacon earlier in the day,
Ooh, yeah, I
throw
like
me
that.
some bacon.
Yeah, there we go.
But what you have to have is the fresh Parmesan underneath the mozzarella.
Oh, underneath the mozzarella. Interesting. Interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, and we don't do a red sauce. We do a we do olive oil with garlic and red pepper flakes.
Okay.
That
like
sounds good.
Yeah, that does sound very nice.
So that's
So
actually
do you-
my favorite pizza, but I didn't want to make two boastful comments in one podcast.
Hey, there's no shame. There is no shame about it.
I'm at the
So-
age where I can be confident.
Did you guys go out and buy one of those like fancy pizza oven things that everybody's got in their backyard now?
We have not, because my
I've heard
kids
good
probably
things.
wouldn't touch it. If it's black, oh, I would love that.
Yeah, fair.
Oh,
Those
like
are
if it
really
has any
hot
like
right now.
char on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are super popular right now, though, those ovens.
Yeah.
Maybe I should reach out to one and see if they want me to do some pizza content.
There you go.
Somewhat, a couple people did just do a pizza company, Annette from 513 Woodworks.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
else did that? They were making pizza peels.
Oh, yeah. The pizza peel.
Can't remember what the company was, but
Is it? I know that like Blackstone makes those flat top griddles. Do they make pizza ovens too?
That's a good question.
I don't know, but you could totally make a pizza right on the Blackstone.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
I know people who are sponsored by Blackstone if you'd like a connection.
But yeah, well, see, that's the thing is like, I guess speaking of like connections, that's one of the things I never realized when I started this is like you start to make like friends and acquaintances with other content creators and like people just share contacts. Like sometimes it's so hard to get in contact with a certain brand or whatever. And then like, you can just be like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Like you and I were talking the other day. You asked me about Pony and I asked you about your table saw that you got. So we just exchanged information. It's like, boom, there you go. Still haven't heard back from Jeremy yet, though.
Oh, really?
No.
The only thing that I make sure to do with that, because I'm happy to share, but if it's a private email, if it's not like listed in a bio, then I ask them first because I have gotten
Absolutely.
I've tried to share my Home Depot contact before and I've asked them and they're like, no, we're good. They can use the general link for the pitch link or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, I cannot share my contact with you.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit weird.
So speaking of Home Depot, you've worked with Home Depot. Both of you guys have, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are they to work with? Are they easy to work with?
I would say medium. Like they weren't like definitely not the worst. Definitely not like super chill, like do whatever you want type of vibes. So somewhere in the middle. Like they were. I honestly have no complaints about working with them, but they are a little more detail oriented, I would say.
Yeah, and they're one of those third-party groups that you have multiple people kind of watching over your content.
Yes.
So if one person is out of the office or whatever, you kind of have to get bounced around a little bit. But
yeah, maybe we'll talk in the after show. I'd be curious to hear if your contact is the same as my contact, because a lot of time these like really big companies like Home Depot are actually represented by multiple different agencies. So, yeah, I've encountered that a lot, especially on YouTube. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I feel like we got a lot that we want to talk about in the after show. What did we say we call it a day here on the main show and head over to the after show?
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Christy, keep that recording going, and for everybody else, we appreciate you joining us. Remember to follow Christy. Christy, give them all your handles and stuff. It's just Oak Hill Millworks everywhere, isn't it?
I wish I didn't have my logo sign covered up.
Oh yeah.
The giant piece of plywood.
That's all right. Nobody watches the live stream anyway. We get
Oak Hill Millworks anywhere you go. OakHillMillworks.com, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and
Pinterest.
more. Yeah, but there's nothing on it.
Yeah, I think that's how mine is too.
Yeah,
I'm
too.
sure it's probably my still like clip art logo that I made when I first started too.
Nice.
But all right, everybody, we appreciate you listening, and
Yes,
we will catch you over on the after show. And if you're too cheap, we will catch you on the main show next week.
See you, everybody.
See you guys.
Later.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and just keep that recording going.
Actually, no. Can I request that she? It makes it a little easier for me if it's two separate files.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to be a diva like that.
So go ahead and stop.
Yeah.
And then go to File and hit Export and Audio Only.